everyone, and welcome to Paper Peony. I'm Kimberly Jones, and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I wanted to bring back the Beautiful Blues kit. It is on the last chance list, so it's limited as far as time as to how long you can get this. And I did notice that it's still on the last chance list, so you are able to purchase this kit. It is on sale for $23. Anytime that an item goes onto the last chance list, it's on sale. So it is a great price for what you get with this kit. I'm going to show you what you get with this kit, and then I'm going to show you alternate projects with this. This comes with 3 cards that you see on the front. The instructions to do 3 cards. It's very nicely laid out as far as what you're going to use, what adhesives you're going to use with each card, and it's going to show you exactly how to put together the 3 cards, which take no time at all. So here are the 3 cards done. So here's one of them right here, which I absolutely love. And then here is the other one, which is more of a landscape. And then here is the other one with the rose print. Now the cards that come in the kit as is, the insides are all going to be white. So you can go ahead and instantly write your message on the inside if you don't want to line them. But I wanted to show you some alternate ideas to use with this, and I did want to kind of give you a rundown of what comes in this kit. Keep in mind, I've already used a lot of this product, but you're also going to see how much product I have left over after doing 6 more samples. Okay, so here you're going to get a ink spot, and this is Night of Navy. You're going to get all of your die cuts done for you, but you're also going to get this, and this kind of tells you what stamps you're getting, and it's going to come with a leaf bow and then 3 different sentiments. The sentiments are sending love, wishing you comfort, and you're in my thoughts, which are, I love the font. Okay, so there are the stamps that you're going to get. Then you're going to get 3 of these little inlays. I'm going to show you how we can break that up and make it into 2 cards. So I've got an extra one of these after doing the 6 cards. This, I cut the card in half, and this is the face front of the card that you saw earlier, and so we're going to use this on 2 cards. This piece comes from cutting the horizontal card, because it's printed on the front and the back card. I cut one of the fronts and I used 2 pieces. And then here are the flower die cuts. You're going to get 3 sheets of this because obviously you have 3 cards. This is what the sheet looks like. You get the roses, you get the navy label, and then the white label. And here's another card base. Again, I cut this in half and use this for 2 cards, which you're going to see here in a minute. And then here, the envelopes are so beautiful, and I love these about our kits because the envelopes are designed as well. We're going to cut up one of these envelopes, and I'm going to show you how we use that as well. And as you can see, I've already cut some up. And then you get a roll of sticky tape. You get a sheet of these really pretty embellishment gemstones that are real pretty blue. You get a sheet of the dimensionals. You also get a block to mount your stamps on. And then here's an extra label that came off of the die cut page. So you're going to get all of these die cuts used for specifically putting together your cards. So here are the samples I did. Here's 1, 2, here's the 3rd one. These 3 we're going to put together today together. Then we have 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to show you how these come together using different ideas, but the same papers and the same color format. Okay, so it looks like the actual card colors that are in, or the colors that are in this kit is Blueberry Bushel, Night of Navy, and then obviously your ink is Night of Navy as well. And then the gemstones are a shade of Blueberry Bushel. But because we've now got a new ink color, and it's called Hydrangea Hue. Let me show you this color. It's beautiful, and it's one of the new ink colors. It's going to be here for 2 years. But we also have shimmer paper that came in all of the new ink colors. And this is recent. This is a recent thing that you're going to be able to find when you shop our products. But these are the 5 ink colors that we have that are new. And we're going to use this Hydrangea Hue shimmer. Look at how pretty that is. We're going to use that for a lot of our accents on our cards because it adds a little bit more of a glimmer shimmer to your cards. So let's do the simpler one first. So this one's going to be our white base card. Now you will need, if you're going to duplicate all the cards that I'm doing, you are going to use extra cardstock. So keep that in mind. This is our basic white cardstock. Let me get my base for that. Okay, so this is going to be 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4. And then you're obviously going to go to the tip edge of your card. You're going to use your bone folder like so, and it's going to turn this way. So it's going to open like that. Okay. Next, you're going to take the Hydrangea Hue Shimmer. I don't know if you can catch on to that, but that outside edge is the shimmer paper. And keep in mind when you buy this, you're going to get one 12 by 12 sheet of each color. I've used this for all of my samples, and I still have quite a bit left. So the shimmer piece is going to be 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. So 2 3/4 wide. Make sure that's wide, okay? Down to 4 1/4. You can use both of your rulers on your cutting blade and get that. And it's going to layer just in the center of the card. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to use that print that was on that card face that had duplicate sides, this card. You're going to cut a square that is 2 by 4. So 2 1/5 by 4. So we're going to go in. This I'm going to have to cut down. Let me move this over. And I'm going to make sure that is 2. Let's see here. Okay. So the print is going to be 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 dashes past the 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then it's by 4. So, and I want more flowers than top. So I'm going to come in and cut the top part off. And you're left with this. Now granted, you're going to have one side that is going to be not as flowery as the other. If you don't want to cut up both sides of the flower or the card for this particular card. But I wanted to save all the images. So now we have our base done. Now the next thing we're going to do on this is we're going to heat emboss. And I usually use like a cornstarch pouch. We have an embossing kit that comes with this, comes with a tray, your forceps or your tongs to hold your paper so your fingers don't get hot. On this one, you're going to use Versamark if you've never heat embossed before. And I'm finding I have all of my stamps mounted on different blocks. So You're in My Thoughts is this one. And you're just going to stamp that in your Versamark and then stamp it up here at the top. You're in My Thoughts. You're not going to see that right now because obviously it's a clear ink. And then you're going to take your white embossing powder. Now this is an old tray that I've had for a long time. I believe the ones that are in the kits that you purchase are black. And you're just going to sprinkle enough of this embossing powder that you're happy as to how thick it is on there. You can thump the back side of your cardstock to get any loose powder off. And I see that I want this a little bit. There's some loose spots in it. Okay, so I'm happy with that. I'm going to push that away so it's not going to be in my way and powder's going to fly everywhere once I turn on my embossing gun. Okay, so now if you get loose powder anywhere on your card, around your cinnamon or whatever you're heat embossing, you can always take a brush or eraser and just come in and very faintly go around and make sure you get all that loose embossing powder off that you don't want to heat once you heat it, okay? Or adhere once you heat it. And I'm really happy with that right now, so I'm going to get my heat embossing gun, and we do Stampin' Up! Does sell these, but you're going to just heat emboss this. And as you can see, the embossing powder is turning really nice and shiny, and that's your sign that it's heated and ready to go. Doesn't take long. I do suggest that you let the gun heat your hand to get to its temp before putting it on the paper. That way your paper doesn't warp. So you're just going to take your green glue or your Tombow glue. So now once you get that, you're just going to glue this down to this shiny, really pretty Hydrangea Hue sparkle paper. And put it on there and press it down real good. And then kind of shimmy it where you want it. Because you have a little bit of wiggle room to get it perfect. Okay. You're going to hold that on there for a little bit. Because 1, you've embossed. And 2, it's going on a sparkle paper, not a cardstock. So you want to kind of make sure it sticks on there real good. Okay, so now we're ready to glue this onto the front of the card. Now, I did put this up on dimensionals because I wanted it to kind of pop from the page. I'm going to show you, I have dimensionals here that I've cut from a piece of bigger sheet of dimensionals. This is how they come when you buy them. So I cut them in half because if you cut them in half, then they last longer. So, and you can put them all over so you have even amount of dimensionals on here and you don't have your paper warp. Okay, so I'm gonna put that right there, and then I'm gonna come up here and put it in the center. You wanna definitely make sure you put it on the corners and in the centers of every piece. So kind of like that right there. And they turn shiny when you get these peeled off, so you'll know if they're ready to go. Okay, and then I'm just gonna hold this up to make sure that I'm happy with where it's getting placed, and I'm happy with that. So we're just gonna put that on there. And what I did is we have this new butterfly punch. I love it. It also comes with a stamp set that coordinates with it. It doesn't come with it, but there's a stamp set that coordinates with it. And I do believe since it's brand new, you do get 10% off if you purchase the punch and the stamp set together. And so I will have my website link below this video if you want to go look at that. I punched out using that shimmer hydrangea hue. I just came in with this paper. It's nice and thick and sturdy, so it punches really nice. And you'll get 3 different shaped butterflies, or different sized butterflies, okay? And I used the bigger one, this one, and I just kind of creased the body and folded it up to kind of give it some dimension, like so. And then you're just gonna use I used a glue dot. You can use glue dots. You can also use your green glue probably to do this, or you know, to have this work. I'm gonna put him right there, and then you're just gonna put him right there. Press him down, and he's on there. And then I took some extra, those embellishments that we have, those little blue gems, came in with the blue gem, and just put one up here in the white to break away the pattern, the rectangle design on here, so your eye goes elsewhere. And then I put the other one right there in the design. So there is card number 1. That's how I put it together. So see, this is the flower part, and then this is the more leafy side. So, but both are really pretty. Card number 2. This is actually taking the card front of this, and we're gonna cut it into 1/2-inch strips. So I took it and I just did 1/2-inch strips across, all the way across, starting with the most decorative side. So 1/2-inch strips, making sure that your paper doesn't slide, because I do believe I felt it slide. And each one of these cards has 4 strips, because I did 2 cards using this technique. And I'm just going to show you how I did one of these particular designs, and then I'll walk you through how I did the other one. Okay, so let's just do these 4. Now make sure you remember how they were cut so they aren't out of order. Then you're going to take Blueberry Bushel cardstock. This is one of our colors. And same measurement. It is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And it's going to open the same way as the white one. Crease those edges. Then you're going to take a piece of white, basic white cardstock. The measurements to this is 3.5 by 4.5. Set your card base aside, and we're going to put together these strips real quick. So I'm going to start with this outer one. I'm going to glue this one flat across the card. And you want to give yourself just enough room that all 4 is going to fit on here, okay? The second one, I'm going to use dimensionals and pop it up. So you're just going to put dimensionals across, kind of like 1/2 inch apart from each other, because with this technique, you definitely want sturdiness across your strip. So you're just going to cut your little dimensionals, and keep in mind, you're definitely going to want to use every bit of your dimensionals. Now, if you're using the ones in the kit, you're going to have those that you can cut in half and use those. I think the ones, when you buy kits, they're a little bit foamier, it feels like. A little bit more cushiony than the ones we buy, but they're still the same. Okay, and then you're just going to leave a little bit of space in between. And then the next one, you're going to glue flat, bringing that up just a little bit. And then this one's going to be pop dotted. I call it pop dot, but they're dimensionals. Okay, it goes like this. So you're just going to come in and you're going to put that like so, like that right there. So now you have your image, and it is straight across, but some are elevated. Some of the pieces are elevated. And then you're just going to take this and you're going to trim this whole entire excess off like so. Take your snips. We sell snips, and they are beautiful as far as cutting around things, like if you're fussy cutting something. Okay, so just go all the way around. Depending on where you place the strips will depend on how it lays at the bottom. Once you have that, then you're going to take the stamp that says "Wishing You Comfort," and you're going to stamp that in the upper left corner in the Night of Navy. And I just, with ink spots, I just turn my stamp upside down and just go over it. Since it's a smaller ink, it works better, I think. And you're just going to go with the flow of the strips. So you're not going to stamp straight across. You're going to stamp in an angle like what these strips are. So you're just going to come up here and go up to the corner and stamp. And then you're going to come in and bring Sending Love and do the same thing to the bottom. And then add 2 of the gemstones, and then we're gonna mount the base, mount this to the base, and then we have it. So one of these is going right here where Sending Love is. The other is going to kind of come in and frame that Wishing You Comfort up here at the top. And then we're ready to glue down this the face front. And I did this on dimensionals as well. And there's card number 2. And then card number 3, let me get to, card number 3 is this one. Okay, so on this one, we're going to use our Night of Navy cardstock instead. And this is going to be 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. So this is going to be folded like a tent card. So it's going to be flipping upwards like so. And then I took that card that has the watercolor look, the blueberry watercolor. I just cut it in half and then played with the margins of the front. So this one is, we want a 4 inch and then we want a 5 1/4 inch. So we have an outline. Then our white pieces that are cut, the print, we're going to go back to that print. And so the print, we're going to cut, find a spot that you want to cut out from this piece here. You can also use the envelope flap for this. But this one here is 1 3/4 by 1 3/4 piece. So find a piece that you're happy with. And if you're just starting with it, the bottom right corner tends to be a really good piece. So 1 3/4 by 1 3/4. And then a white piece that is slightly bigger. And let's do 2 by 2 on the white, 2 by 2. And we have this piece done. And then we're going to, I think that might be a little bit bigger, but okay. And then we're going to do the Night of Navy, and we're going to bring it to, let's see, I want to say I measured that at 1 7/8 by 3 5/8. So 1 7/8. So 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, almost to the 2. 1 7/8 by 3 5/8. That's going over here. 1 3/4 by 3 1/2 on the white. So we have it like this. And this is going to be, see how it's just a faint border? That's what we want. Okay, so it's going to be like that. And then this piece, we may trim down a little bit. My measurements seemed to be a little big. Maybe it's because I need to cut down this. Okay, so we have 2. Yes, it is. Okay, so we're going to go in between. We're going to cut it in between the 1 3/4 and the 2. It'll be 1 7/8 on both sides. Now we're going to take this white piece and we're going to bring in our leaf sprig that comes in the kit. We're going to ink it up with Night of Navy. Make sure you have a piece under you because this is going to hang off. Well, it's not going to hang off the edge, it doesn't look like. But we're going to stamp 2 and 3 times. Okay, so we're going to do first time, which is going to be the most concentrated. So you're going to come in and stamp it, then come up and stamp it, and then come out and stamp again. And then you're going to kind of get that more 3D effect. You're going to have a background effect to that. Okay, so there's that. Okay, so now we're ready to glue all this together. So making sure you get it on here. Now it's going to have a little bitty border. So the minute you get that glue down, make sure you have a border all the way around and you're happy with it. So there's that one. And then on the white, we're going to glue this rose print, bring it to the white and glue it down. And then we're going to go ahead, I'm going to go ahead and glue the base down. I like building from the bottom up. So we're going to put this down, put that on there. This is going to be on dimensionals. This is going to be on dimensionals. And then we're going to take one of those labels out of the kit. Okay, we're going to use the little label. And we're going to stamp Sending Love on it. So you're going to bring that Sending Love back in and the ink. And you're going to stamp Sending Love on this little label right there. The one that has the border. And you're going to come in and just over, I'm going to pull this down so I can see what I'm doing. And then you're going to use dimensionals and pop that up as well. So let's build the card up and then bring that right there. Do the same for your stamped piece. None of these are hard. They're super simple. Then this one comes in and you want just a little bit of a border in between everything. Okay, like that. And then we're ready to put this Sending Love on Dimensions as well. And the last thing I did is that Hydrangea Hue has a ribbon. So I put this on here like that. And then I had that extra butterflies I punched out. So I used the smaller one on the upper left square. Did my little glue dot like I did before. Find a spot you want your butterfly and then glue this on there. And then we're ready to put our ribbon on there. And so what we're gonna do with the ribbon, you're just gonna tie a little bitty knot. The ribbon looks like this. It's a really pretty ribbon. It has this really pretty satin edge to it, and it's very easy to tie. You're just going to tie a bow. And I tied my bow using the whole reel of ribbon because I didn't know how big I wanted it. So I just went in, tied my bow. Okay, so bring it in where it's the size you want it, and you're going to put that right there. So I did a glue dot, and I did a bigger glue dot because of the knot of the bow. So I just came in and pressed that knot to my glue dot. I put it where I wanted it, making sure that my bow looks like I want it. And then I came in with some really good scissors and just cut those in an angle. And there is this card. So that is the third card. So these are 3 samples that are different than the kit. So there is the 3 that I just did to show you a different alternative. I'm going to cut the video here and start a new one for the last 2 samples I want to show you how to do, since this happens to be a longer video than I thought. And hope to see you in the second part of the video. Thanks, guys. Bye.